Welcome to Bar Cart Bookshelf, a video series about books and the drinks they inspire. My name is Elias, and today we're talking about The Felicity Complex, or A Brief Forever in Heaven Underground, by August Clarke. The Felicity Complex is the latest standalone novel from Clarke, whose Metal from Heaven we covered back in 2024, November of 2024, one of my favorite reads of that year. We did a wonderful blue-purple highball for that, the Icarite. If you haven't checked out that episode, highly recommend. It's a fantastic book, and what do you know? The Felicity Complex, a fantastic book as well, because we have that commitment here at Bar Cart Bookshelf. We only cover bangers. The Felicity Complex is a science fiction novel, a satire of billionaire paranoia, of preparation, an exploration of troubled gender and desire. It's a heady, soupy serum of just goop and gunk that leads to a delicious grand guignol climax in what feels to me like true August Clarke style, and something that I absolutely adore. It's goopy and gaudy, and we have gorgeous, gorgeous girl-shaped things floating around in vats. It's really just fantastic stuff. And we have this division of time, things from before and things from after, as we see our wonderful girls for the Felicity Complex, which is this bunker hotel underground that is built to survive the apocalypse. This is a sort of retro-futurist science fiction novel, so something built back in a thing that feels like the 1970s and is designed for when the communists attack America and all of our good and noble billionaires have to survive in perfect luxury underground. And so, of course, you need to have people to care for them, and instead of, real people with real needs, we have girls made of goo, this sort of prima materia, this strange biological chromosomal soup that has been constructed into reasonably sexually dimorphic forms. These gorgeous, gorgeous girls hanging out in vats. And we see much of our story from the perspective of one of these girls, the Specimen 679-B, otherwise known as Hallelujah, who is eager to serve. She's filled with love for her mission and her purpose, even as she's exploring her own desires. She's a really fun narrator because you can see some of the other Felicity Complex girls who are maybe a little more aware of some things on the periphery, and so you get this wonderful balance of curiosity and naivete. It's a really just masterfully constructed flow of information in the novel. I had a great time. If you're interested in thinking about it as like an exploration of craft, I think you're going to have a lot of fun with it. If you're going for, big, bombastic, wild, sort of gonzo, timely, thoughtful, action-packed adventure, you're also going to have a lot of fun with it. It is a strange book that packs a lot into a fairly slim package. It's only 284 pages, but we get a lot going on there without overstaying our welcome. Just really fantastic stuff, and sort of reminiscent of some of the sort of science fictional satires that we've covered here on Bar Cart Bookshelf in recent memory. Foundling Fathers by Meg Elison, or last summer, It's Not the End of the World. I definitely encourage you to check those episodes out as well. And so, of course, because I had such a marvelous time with the book, we had to have a drink. Our drink today is the Specimen 679-B, and it begins with some mint. So we're growing some mint in our sort of cavern underwater, and so I have gathered some mint from my garden outside. I don't have to be in a bunker. I am not afraid of communists coming to ruin my life, because that's simply not something that I have to worry about. Or indeed, that anybody who's not, deeply malevolent has to worry about. So we've got some mint in our shaker tin, and we're going to give that nice gentle muddle. Just express those oils, those wonderful mentholy oils in there. Really refreshing, crisp and green and herbal, just wafting through the air. And to that, we will add the remainder of our ingredients. This one is going to be a little bit of a kitchen sink drink. We're going to have a lot of things going on there. It sort of gets at some of the complexity of the novel and gives us this sort of really elaborate and fun kind of drink here. So we're going to get our base spirit in here, which is 1 ounce of whiskey. And you'll notice this is not a labeled bottle. This is an infinity bottle. We have a scene with a bottle of whiskey unlabeled in the novel. And so I thought, you know what? Let me get out my bottle of something brown. So if you're not familiar with the concept of the infinity bottle, appropriate for when you're planning to spend an eternity underground, an infinity bottle takes the remains, the last little bits of bottles that you're finishing up, and blends them all together. So it's essentially a homemade blend of whiskeys, or you could get some rum or brandy in there. So it's a bottle of brown. And you create something that's shifting and changing and never quite the same as your proportions sort of shift and flow in there. Get a little splash of scotch in there, get some rye whiskey. This is mostly bourbon, and if you don't have a sort of infinity bottle system on your home bar, just go with 1 ounce of your favorite smooth American whiskey. And for that, for me, it's got to be bourbon. So 1 ounce of whiskey in here, and then 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice. Nice, sharp citrus for summer. And then our sweeteners. Going to start with 1/4 of an ounce of absinthe. These girls, they live in, at least for a time, a vat system that's filled with a serum that they need to avoid having strange growths in their body. We are never to forget that they are not actually girls. They are weird, super science Frankenstein sorts of girl-shaped things. And so these vats, the serum that they're in, it's this sort of lushy, milky, saline, salty brine, almost seminal sort of fluid that they're floating around in. And so absinthe has this wonderful property called the louche effect, where when you add cold water, as we will in the form of our ice, the anethol, the anise compounds in the absinthe cloud up and create this wonderful milky effect in our drink. So we're going to get some of that in there with that absinthe, and also that really crisp and refreshing herbal quality that's going to play so nicely with our mint. And then we will get 1/2 ounce of honey syrup. By the time we get to the after portions of the novel, honey is something of a rare commodity for the girls underground, something very special to care for. And so we're going to get those lovely preserved crystallized honey flavors into our Specimen 679-B. And it'll bring that bit of sweetness, that bit of richness, that bit of depth, just really satisfying. And it's goo made from bugs. There's a lot of goo going on here. I need to convey to you, discerning readers out there, just how much lovely, lovely goo we have in the Felicity Complex. And then we'll add 1/4 of an ounce of orgeat. This is, as I've said before, America's favorite syrup. We're going to give this a little bit of a shake. When it's homemade, you do want to shake it before pouring, because you can get a lot of almond, sort of meal almond pulp into your syrup, and that'll separate out. And we don't want that when we're in our drink. We want it to be just nice and lovely and smooth. But it is, as I've said before, America's favorite syrup. We're going to get 1/4 ounce of that in there. It's this nutty, sweet, floral, very delicate, but also sort of robust kind of syrup, played most traditionally in a Mai Tai, one of these drinks that has that long history of this sort of retro-futurist or retro-otherness quality to it. Brings a bit of that old world charm, that tiki quality where we're here in a dark space and nothing ever really changes, like the Camelot room of the Felicity Complex. So we'll get 1/4 ounce of that orgeat in there. And then finally, we're going to add a dropper full of saline solution. We'll add 2. This is one that you're going to treat like bitters, so easy to add more, hard to add less, but it's just a little bit of salt and a little bit of water. This is one you sort of mix it to taste. If it tastes salty enough to you, and it should have that real pucker, then it's going to be exactly right. And it's going to add a bit of savory depth to our cocktail without being that sort of overwhelming punch right when you sip on it that you get sometimes when you put salt on the rim of a glass. So we've got all of our liquid ingredients in here. Now at last it is time to add our ice. Get our ice in here. We always add our ice last because you never know when guests are going to arrive at the Felicity Complex, and you wouldn't want them to arrive to a watery cocktail, not these distinguished and vaunted billionaires and tastemakers from around the world. No, no, no. So we add our ice last. And we shake it up, wake it up. Lovely. Perfect. Nice, frosty, freezy, cold, and refreshing. And we'll strain that into a glass. Stemmed glass, like so. Nice and refreshing. Perfect. And there you have it. We'll garnish that with another sprig of fresh mint, like so. And there you have it. This is the Specimen 679-B, inspired by the Felicity Complex by August Clarke. A huge thank you to the publisher, Erewhon Books, for sending me a review copy so that I could talk about it on release day. If you haven't checked out August Clarke's work before, I really encourage you to do so. I have loved everything that August has written that I have had the chance to read. Loved Metal from Heaven, loved the Felicity Complex. I think you all will as well. You're gonna really love The Dinner Show with Hallelujah, Anastasia, Cleopatra, Ballerina, Thumbelina, and Oklahoma. And ooh, he got all 6 of them right. Let's go. I've got a link to snag the book in the description down below, as well as a link to purchase my book, Cocktails and Consoles, 75 Cocktails and Mocktails to Level Up Your Game Night, and Shatter the Sun, the latest anthology from Neon Hemlock, which has a story of mine, the Peacock Wizard in the Cave of the Serpent Queen. I think if you're a regular viewer of us here on Bar Cart Bookshelf, you're really going to love it. If you're a new viewer, I think you're really going to dig it too. We've got links to various forms of social media, including Blue Sky and Instagram, where there is always a written version of today's recipe. Try the drink. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Hit that like button. It makes me so, so happy when you do. Subscribe if you haven't already so you never miss an episode. It's astonishingly the last Tuesday in July, but we've got some really great books that we're going to be talking about in August, September, October, all 2026 long, and I can't wait to share them with all of you. So make sure that you're subscribed and you never miss an episode. And so, until next time, cheers.